Estoy en la primera otra vez?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Let's see, ya. Some of you might have driven with just a learner permit before with no one else in a car. Though it is a rare action, sometimes it is necessary and there is no other option. I have driven without a license before. I know that it is bad and I have worried about being stopped on the road before, but it was the only way that I could get to and from work on a daily basis. North Carolina is one of the many states that does not allow undocumented immigrants access to a driver's license. As I speak, I will talk about why not giving undocumented immigrants access to a driver's license is bad. I will then talk about my plan for the state of North Carolina to allow undocumented immigrants access to a driver's license and how it will work. Afterwards, I will mention how the state could benefit from allowing undocumented immigrants access to a driver's license. Lastly, I will mention how we can get the state's legislature to listen and do something about the cause. Before we can get to why undocumented immigrants should get a driver's license, we must know why it is bad in the first place that they do not have one. Driving without a license is illegal and can have many consequences. Many undocumented parents have jobs or kids that they need to get to every day. In most cases, many of these parents are forced to drive illegally in order for them to get to work and provide for their family. Due to this, it can be very stressful for them since they are driving without a license. According to Jessica Stern from Stern Law in an article from July of 2019, a person is not going to be deported simply because they are convicted of driving without a license. However, the arrest is often the reason that a person ends up in deportation proceedings and can be a reason for an immigration judge to deny bond while a deportation case is pending. When I was 16, my mom went to go pick me up from work. She was stopped at a gas station nearby and was given a ticket for driving without a license. She was then questioned where she was going since it was really late at night, and she was followed all the way to my workplace just to make sure that she wasn't lying about picking me up. After that, we went home and the police officers still followed us until we got to our street. This was crazy and scary, but we were just glad that she was not arrested. This places additional stress on the children who worry that their parents will be deported. According to Lindsay Turner from Montreal Gazette from July of 2018, when the threat is ongoing to the stress system, it may remain on high alert, sometimes triggering anxiety, behavior problems, stomach aches, sleep problems, and other mental and physical symptoms. Persistent stress may alter brain structure in regions affecting emotions and regulating behavior. Imaging studies have found these regions are smaller than in usually severely traumatized children. Sometimes accidents can occur, whether it be the undocumented immigrant's fault or not. Sometimes they can get scared and try to flee the site, or they may end up staying and facing the consequences. According to Julia Preston and Robert Gebeloff from the New York Times, in an article from 2010, an undocumented woman was hit by a U.S. citizen in a car accident at a traffic light. Preston and Gebeloff stated that the crash led Ms. Valencia, an illegal immigrant who did not have a valid driver's license, to 12 days in detention and the start of a deportation proceeding after 17 years of living in Georgia. Even though Ms. Valencia was not at fault, she was arrested and detained due to the fact that she did not have a valid driver's license. This is the story of many undocumented immigrants when having an accident. My father, several years ago, was in a car accident at a traffic light. He was not at fault. He was hit by a U.S. citizen. The police came and he was asked several questions, and him not knowing any better started telling them that he didn't have a driver's license or anything that he needed in order to drive the vehicle he was driving. He was on his way to work, so he was driving a work van, and this caused a lot of problems. In the end, he had to pay for all of the damage and was given a ticket due to the fact that he did not have a valid driver's license. The reasons for why undocumented immigrants should be allowed access to a driver's license, the economic benefits are important as well. Many undocumented immigrants without a license are unable to make purchases such as cars, houses, or big appliances due to the lack of safe transportation. Almost all undocumented immigrants without a driver's license have no car or car insurance and are dependent of others in order to get to and from work. Allowing them to get a driver's license will make it easier for them to get to work and help the local economy. According to a document from the Oregon Department of Transportation in June of 2011, lack of access to driver's licenses means that immigrants spend more time trying to get around and less time working and putting dollars back into the local economy. In fact, most are less likely to make purchases in general due to the lack of safe access to transportation. Now that the economic benefits of allowing undocumented immigrants to receive a driver's license has been discussed, we must go over a plan for the state of North Carolina to help undocumented immigrants be allowed access to a driver's license. North Carolina should allow the ability to apply for a driver's license to undocumented immigrants. One way that North Carolina can help is by letting them present proof of residency in whatever state they live in for more than 5 years. They can also bring a passport from their home countries and a birth certificate as identification and proof of identity. Almost all countries let you get a passport from a consulate or an embassy. According to the National Conference of State Legislatures for the state of Illinois, the law S-957 allows the Secretary of State to issue temporary visitors' driver's licenses to an individual who has resided in Illinois for a specified time and unable to prove lawful presence. A valid, unexpired foreign passport or consular identification from their country of citizenship are acceptable forms of identification. All other states who have allowed something similar to this law have different regulations or rules that they take for this application. The second way for the state to help undocumented immigrants would be allowing them to take driving classes before they are even allowed to apply for a driver's license. This will help to ensure that they are knowledgeable of the road signs and road safety rules in order to keep everyone on the road safe. After these courses are completed by them, all undocumented drivers who apply for a driver's license will need to show proof of insurance for their cars that they will be driving, or just for themselves in case they are borrowing a car from someone else. Having a plan is just as important as seeing thousands of undocumented immigrants getting a license and what this will mean for the North Carolina economy. Allowing undocumented immigrants access to a driver's license will help keep record of everyone on the road and if they have insurance. This will help the state of North Carolina keep control of the people on the road and keep everyone safe. According to the Colorado Fiscal, allowing undocumented immigrants access to driver's licenses would increase revenue for automobile insurance companies and increase car registration revenue. A thought without a plan of action is just a thought that will never become reality. If you have friends who are undocumented residents or their parents are, please consider emailing, calling, and informing others of the benefits this change can bring to the state. Research the states that have already passed a legislation for undocumented immigrants to receive a driver's license and look at the benefits that it has brought to those states. Not only that, but make sure to research the candidates for senator and governor openings and look at their ideas and plans that could be similar and bring light to this problem, and make sure to vote for them. Though sometimes people do things in a wrongful way, why not give them an opportunity to do right? We have now discussed why it is the dangers of undocumented immigrants not having a driver's license and a plan for the state of North Carolina to allow them this documentation. Not only that, but we also discussed the benefits that this change can bring, as well as why the state of North Carolina should allow them this driver's licenses. As I said before, the state of North Carolina is one of the many states that does not allow undocumented immigrants access to a driver's license. As once being an undocumented immigrant myself, illegally, I wish you all knew the fear of having to drive without a driver's license on the road and fearing every day that you could be stopped just because you have to get to work or have to take your kids or siblings to school. Whether you agree with the changes and opportunities that undocumented immigrants could receive by this action, many, if not all, will continue to drive illegally in order to provide for their family.